Hey everyone, today I wanted to go over the new and very exciting news that we have for Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak on both the Nintendo Switch and on PC via Steam. And today what I want to discuss is of course the brand new latest challenge and the brand new latest Hazard event quest that was added just a few days ago as part of the 4th free title update. Now if you have been keeping up with pretty much all the content that I've been putting out, you would know that there's about 15 event quests that are going to be part of the 4th free title update. A lot of these weeks that we're going to get upcoming are going to get doubled event quests, and kind of like the one that we just got this past week where we ended up getting two of them, one with that Volcana in the Lava Caverns, and the second event quest, this brand new Hazard, putting you up against a Violet Mitsune. If you still don't necessarily know how to get your hands on any sort of event quest or downloadable content, all you need to do is make your way down to Steelworks or Elgato, speak to the courier cat, go all the way down to the add-ons options, and claim anything that's labeled in white, whether it be event quests, downloadable item packs, or anything along those lines. And one of those will be not just the Cooling Caverns event quest that we got for Volcana in the Lava Caverns, which I covered in the last video, but also this brand new Hazard Dance of Disaster event quest with Violet Mitsune. Now the reason why these Hazard event quests are really interesting is because seemingly they have higher difficulty parameters than Anomaly Investigation level 220 quests for whatever monster that has an Anomaly Investigation version of themselves. Pretty much only 2 monsters so far do not have an Anomaly Investigation version of themselves that are not Elder Dragons or anything like that. And that is of course Lucent Nargacuga, which was the first one to get a Hazard event quest back and the 3rd free title update. The last event quest that we got was that one, and now we have the second one, Hazard Dance of Disaster for Violet Mitsune, which is the second monster that doesn't have an Anomaly Investigation version of itself. It cannot be corrupted by the Curio based on the lore because it just doesn't venture out from the arenas. So based on the lore and the way that they've made the game, I guess the developers just don't want to put these monsters out there for whatever reason. So therefore these monsters getting a Hazard, more difficult a version of themselves through these event quests is pretty interesting. At the same time, of course, visually they are much bigger than normal. I don't know if they qualify for crowns, but they certainly should. So if you're like looking for crowns or whatever, these should qualify for crown status, at the very least for the big crown status. And at the same time, these monsters are really gonna pack a wallop. Now there is some truth to be said here that Violet Mitsune, when it comes to direct comparisons to Lucent Nargacuga, it is a little bit of an easier encounter, but you will notice that it does have a couple of adjusted attacks, adjusted parameters. Lucent Nargacuga had the most recent wave of Risen EX Elder Dragons, Risen Kushala Daora EX, Risen Chameleos EX, and Risen Teostra EX, all of monsters which I've covered in separate videos. All of them have brand new attacks. Lucent Nargacuga's Hazard version has that, and this Violet Mitsune is no different as well. So there's one massive attack you're probably going to notice, and that is the fact that when it does the big kind of like Spirit Bomb attack, one of the things you're going to notice is that not only can it hurt you, but it can hurt itself as well. If it kind of like misses and it doesn't actually catch somebody, once the fire turns orange, that means the fire, the camera zooms out a little bit from you, and then you're gonna notice that the kind of like big fireball kind of like begins to descend. Usually, normally, the camera wouldn't pan away from you, zoom out or anything like that, still remain blue, and then still strike the ground directly. This time it turns orange, it pans out, making it look a little bit more menacing, and if it doesn't strike a person, usually it's just one hit KO, it will actually hurt itself and it will topple itself. So it'll get knocked over to the ground, lay sideways, and there you can actually start kind of wailing on it. If you're like looking for weaknesses, of course the tail is the best spot if you're a gunner, because you're constantly going to be critting it, as you can see in my gameplay footage. So that is kind of like the thing you want to do. For this one, of course, when it comes to boosted parameters, it has high resistances, so it's kind of harder to stun just naturally through like status effects, poison, stuff like that, sleep even. You can put plenty of traps on it. That's one of the things that I saw a lot of the parties that I did this quest with. I did it about 5 different times to capture footage on it, and pretty much a lot of people were just dropping traps on it, myself included, so that's pretty good. Certainly bring in probably a healing cat if you're going to have a little bit of a trouble with it. You don't really need the Palamutes here to do extra damage, especially if you have the long distance Palamutes, or if you're using the kunai and chain ones. You're not really gonna get much out of that here because it's just constantly veering around. One of the biggest complaints that I've seen is that people who are using slower weapons, hammers, great swords and stuff like that, this thing is constantly adjusting. It's very fast, so they're not really having a great time with that. A lot of fast moving weapons will have no issues with it, but slow moving weapons certainly weren't having the greatest of time. With that said, though, like I said, higher resistances, higher health, higher damage, and of course a couple of new moves. Now, the one that I mentioned is the only one that I really could pick off on. Certainly, I'm sure in the comments some of you guys might point out a few others, but it will constantly do attacks that you probably don't necessarily see Violet Mitsune do naturally. It will start to do them a little bit more, and like I said, it's faster, it's bigger, it's more aggressive, certainly loves to readjust. It has this one attack that is just constantly just flipping around and jumping in the air. You should probably see that in the gameplay at some point. It's just a normal attack that the normal version of this monster just simply doesn't have. So certainly got adjusted in one way or another, and is a really good encounter. Now, with that said, and all of that aside, I still think the Lucent Nargacuga encounter is more dangerous, only because Lucent Nargacuga will hone in on a person and combo them to hell. Where this one can combo you, but you can kind of keep your distance away from it a little bit. And of course, the fact that if you have gunners piercing through the hell of it, through the back or the tail, this thing is just going to go down pretty fast. If you don't have gunners, chances are you're going to be there longer than needed. I've seen some people post already, sub 7 minute solo gameplay on it. So it doesn't have a lot of health in comparison to Lucent Nargacuga's hazard version of itself, but at the end of the day, it's not really a race or anything like that, although speedrunners certainly will disagree when it comes to that. Now, at the end of the day, there will be one more hazard event quest. Presumably, this one will be part of the last week of the 4th free title update event quest. This one will be a hazard Flaming Espinas event quest. Now, the interesting thing here is that we're going to have to wait and see just how powerful that Flaming Espinas is. Will it be as powerful as an Anomaly Investigation level 220 version of itself, or will it be more powerful? We'll just have to wait and see. Certainly, new attacks will be coming alongside it, since it will be a hazard version. So, certainly looking forward to seeing that, just to see where it is that we're going to be, at the end of the day. And that, another thing this also signifies is that we're about halfway through all of the content for the 4th free title update when it comes to the event quest. There will be more double weekly event quests going forward, because pretty much at the end of April, we're expecting the 5th free title update to drop. And of course, the PlayStation Sunbreak, Xbox, and PC Windows version will be dropping soon before then. But that's about all the information that I have for you guys today. Certainly excited for this new hazard event quest, but I would love to see pretty much more monsters get this treatment going forward. If you're brand new to my channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Hit the bell to receive notifications when the videos go up. And as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya.